strive to be a go-to person. If you're a YN, you should be all over the place. You should be knowing how to do people's DTS travel. You should be knowing how to help people out with their evals, all that stuff. If you're a boatsman's mate and you want to, do something else outside of boatsman's mate stuff, help volunteer the, help the LSs out with bringing some of the supplies and stuff like that. Everybody around you will notice the work that you're putting in. People know on the ship or even on a shore duty, they know who their rock sailors are, their rock star sailors are. Everybody can point out, you can tell by their uniform and all that stuff, which is actually something I didn't write down. Make sure your uniform is good at all times. Make sure you're constantly groomed at all times. I know a lot of the times we may wake up, we don't feel like shaving. That's cool. I've been there 1,000 times, but you have to make sure that your uniform is good to go. You don't want to go in there and your uniform is flopped up like this. You don't want to be walking around with your cover half off your head. You don't want to be walking around. If you got black boots, I would recommend you go to combat boots, because if you go to the brown boots, you don't have to shine them. But if you have black boots, shine them things. Like early in the morning, shine your boots. It don't take that long. Like take 2 minutes, show that you did a little effort, shine your boots, make sure that everything is straight. Make sure your whole attire and the way that you present yourself is great. And you're around officers and you're around chiefs. If you're cool with these people or like the upper rankings and your superiors, that's cool. But make sure you still know your place. I was cool with a lot of officers and stuff, but I still, yes, sir, no, ma'am. Yes, chief, no, chief. It's a respect thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't be too cool to where you like, all right, bro, yeah, I got you, or whatever the case is. No, show that you still have your military bearing. Because at the end of the day, you could be as cool as you want, but when it comes to these ranking boards, which I've stood in some, they're going to be like, yeah, he's been doing what he's supposed to do, but he lacks military bearing. Trust me, I've heard it 1,000 times. And the last thing is share the love. People are paying attention to you even when you don't think they're paying attention to you. So when I say share the love, I mean share the wisdom, share your trial and errors, share your experiences to all these junior sailors, because you got to think you're in the command for 3, 4, 5 years. Make an impact while you're at that command. If you can't say that the people that you serve with at that command could talk about you in a good manner after you leave, then you didn't really serve your purpose too well. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. Like, you have to make sure that you're giving back. When I say giving back, you're giving back to the junior sailors. You're making them better. You're perfecting their professionalism. You're helping them as far as their work ethic goes. And you're able to groom these junior sailors, because that's what it's really all about. You know what I mean? When I was an E1 and E2, I had a few people that I wouldn't call a mentor, but I had a few people that I looked at and I kind of emulated them. You know what I mean? It was a whole different rate. There was, ATs at the time, AEs, PSs, but I picked up on certain things. You know what I mean? Pay attention to the people that's already EP sailors. Figure out what they're doing right. Figure out what they're doing wrong. And with everything that they're doing wrong, make sure that you can do better. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you, especially if you're doing 20 years, if you're doing 20 years, you're going to be a chief petty officer. Trust me, the demand is going to be much harder. You know what I mean? They want to see, okay, how knowledgeable is this person, and how well of a leader is this person as far as when it comes to other sailors. You know what I mean? So these are, I think I said 6 to start off with. I think I really gave y'all 7. But I guarantee if y'all follow these 7 different rules and you follow these 7 different concepts that I gave you, there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting an EP. And it doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, white, Asian, none of that. None of that stuff matters. You cannot argue what's in black and white. That's something that was taught to me, and that's something that I want to pass along to y'all. It does not matter who's taller, who performs better, and blah, blah, blah. Even if you don't know your job too well, if you're showing an effort and you have all these 7 things down packed, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in that discussion to get an EP. So you can't argue what's in black and white. Make sure that when they look at your portfolio and they look at your brag sheet is literally hands down. You can't argue it. There's been times where I've been in ranking boards. I presented the evidence to these people and I'm like, bro, there's no reason why she should not get the EP. They couldn't argue it. They're like, man, I did see her on the wing wall. She was doing blah, 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 blah. You have to get it together. You have to make sure that any command you go to, you make an impact. It might sound corny, but at the end of the day, it's your career. what you put into it is what you get out of it. So I hope you guys took some notes. I hope you guys will pass along this stuff to your junior sailors. If you're a junior sailor, pass this up to some of your senior sailors or senior leadership. And then we just set the standard. Well, y'all set the standard for, what an EP sailor should be and what those EP sailors possess.